What do you know about Darwin?
Galapagos Islands?
The Galapagos Islands
Evolution.
found the theory of evolution.
Just evolution stuff, so I guess this is gonna get really religious.
You assume it's going to get really religious. Why?
Because evolution's like one of the biggest things that Catholics hate about science.
How would you describe the relationship between Darwin's evolutionary theory and religion?
I don't see a conflict, but I know when he was putting his theory out there, there was a lot of people thought there was a conflict.
It depends on like who is preaching to you, I guess. Because like I guess some popes are against evolution because it says it goes against like Adam and Eve and stuff like that. But like some popes and priests will interpret the Old Testament as fiction.
People try and use evolution as a way to discredit the Bible, and the people in religion aren't happy about that.
So when people think of Darwin and religion, they usually immediately go to the creationists versus evolution narrative. But the conflict is actually a lot more than science versus religion. It's very complicated, mostly because Darwin's own experience with religion is complicated as well. He actually studied mathematics and theology at Christ's College under the Church of England, and at one point he was studying to become a priest. But eventually he let go of those plans to study as a priest, and he began to work as an observer for the Beagle, which is where he went over to the Galapagos Islands. With his observations in his journal, he often admired nature as God's work and basically attributed all the beauty in the world to God's handiwork. And he also wrote about his appreciation for Christian missionaries bringing God's word to the New World. However, later on in life, Darwin started to doubt his faith for a variety of reasons. So his father was an atheist, as we would call them now. He had a major doubt of religion. He didn't believe in God. And he eventually died, which caused a lot of turmoil about Darwin's personal relationship with religion, because he wanted to believe that his father would be in a better place, but his father didn't believe in that. So he had a lot of interpersonal conflict regarding his father's death. He also had religious conflicts of his wife. His wife was a very big Catholic or Christian, and she was very astute in her beliefs. And he had his internal conflict, so he wasn't sure. So he had a similar relationship with his wife as well as his father as what happens when we die and how can we explain the world. And Darwin also began to question, as he was observing nature, why God would create cruelty and violence in nature. So Darwin actually favored a theistic evolution. So in his evolutionary theory, he did not make a claim in support of the role of God in the universe and evolution, and he also did not support a claim against the role of God in the universe. So he left room for God's role in evolution in a sort of way to reconcile his theory. Why do you think he did this?
Maybe he didn't know his relationship with God, so that went into his theory. If he doesn't know his relationship with him, he doesn't know how to incorporate that into his theory of evolution.
He questioned the theories from the Catholic Church and challenged them.
It's just a theory too, so like I guess he didn't really like have any like proof or evidence to do that stuff anyway, so I guess yeah, he was just afraid of the Catholic Church and of fate.
Now, some people believe that he did this because of the authority of the Catholic Church and in fear that they would do a similar type of thing that they did to Galileo. But a more recent idea is that maybe he did this because of his internal personal conflicts with religion. So does this context surprise you about Darwin?
A little, yes.
Why?
I never really thought of his role with religion. Just about what he did with evolution.
No, not really. He's just a theorist, to be honest. So, like, he didn't really have any proof on what he was saying in general, so I wouldn't really consider him a scientist anyway.
Does it change your perspective of how some people believe that evolution naturally conflicts with the Bible?
Yes, it complicates the idea.
Either letting the people decide for themselves, putting the information out there and let people try to decide for themselves. In the end, you end up with two different groups. One that supports the Catholic theories and one that supports his theory. Well, supports the evolution theory.